Welcome to Game of Roses. This is PaceCase.
This is Bachelor Clues, and what you've tuned into is a return to Twibbin.
Oh, your Twibbin voice, of course.
In Bachelor Nation.
I forgot.
Yeah, we've taken some time off of Twibbin, of course, because we were doing 2 recaps per week there for a second with Grant Ellis's historic Bachelor Season 29, overlapping with Survivor Season 48 that we're also still recapping. But now that Grant's season is over and we've done our top 10 takeaways, we're back to Twibbin. Twibbins will be on Tuesdays. Survivor recaps will be on Thursdays. Once Survivor ends, Twibbin will move back to Fridays, and we will have some other episode out on Tuesdays, interviews and what have you. Don't worry about that yet. Yeah, we're not there yet.
But this is twixt weeks in Bachelor Nation. We have a lot to cover because of all of the weeks we missed.
Indeed. We're going to get to all of it. We must also mention that our Digging Deeper is out. It came out yesterday if you're listening to this on Tuesday, and it is jam-packed with beautiful, luscious clips, including Daniel Reyes from Traders talking about how Bachelor players are players. Don't get it mistaken.
Thank you, Danielle.
We had
for your beautiful, eloquent words.
Yeah. Finally, somebody recognizes what we've known all along. And PaceCase, you have some HBO Lax news, I see.
HBO Lax, we just completed Severance. We are Patreon only at the moment, and we are moving on to White Lotus right on time. So
yeah, it just ended.
Look forward to that. Clues and Catherine recorded episode 1 of White Lotus, so that's already available. But we'll be doing 2 through 10 shortly.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
2 through 10, there's only 8.
2 through 8, rather.
Yeah. But the 8th episode is an hour and a half.
In my mind, that's how many episodes there are of a season.
I agree.
I love White Lotus.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And I loved the Severance season. You still don't watch Severance, Clues?
It's too painful.
You need to get off of that.
Painful.
It's not. No.
It is, because I'm also still... No, I'm writing a book. Among many of the books I'm writing, one of them is kind of that idea spun a little bit, and so I want no influence from the thing that I believe stole my original idea.
Okay, well, if you want to listen to our Severance recaps, they're available now. Us recapping the show that they stole from Clues. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. You got to do what you got to do. I get it.
I think there's a lot of, the zeitgeist, similar ideas, people not wanting to work. That's a big theme,
People not wanting to work?
Yeah. Since TikTok makes all the kids not want to work. You didn't hear this?
I didn't hear about it.
Well,
I'm working my ass off on TikTok.
That's what they're saying.
Putting out 2 clips a day on the necessary conversation.
They're saying life is not about work. Can you believe that?
I mean, it depends on what you consider work, I suppose. For me, work is not work. It's just what my brain does. The work is I guess trying to figure out how to make money at it. I don't know. But it's like, I'm going to make these things.
That's very lucky.
Whether I'm working or not.
Yeah.
In quotes, working. I don't really have a choice.
But you have pleasure binges. Those are different from ones you watch in Clues Corner. Yeah.
But even in the pleasure binge, I am absorbing information to help me break down systems.
Okay. Always. Well, anyway, go check that out. Patreon.com/HBOLax. If you have any time to not work and enjoy other people's work.
Or if you have any time to absorb information from media and other interactions with human beings that will help you break down other systems that you identify as you move through this thing we called life. That's essentially how I view everything. Let's move on now, speaking of breaking down a system, to our first segment of this brand new Twibbin. It feels good to be doing Twibbin again, I must say.
I know.
Wait,
go back to your voice you did in the beginning.
This is
Game of Roses. State of the game.
That's ESPN has an announcer that's like that. Top 10 brought to you by Budweiser.
It sounds like your Dark Lord Jeff a little bit.
Dark Lord Jeff? No, his is more like high pitch. Is like, okay, guys, come on. This is Survivor. Let's get it on.
That's how you do Survivor.
Because I think the rasp in his voice just comes from 20 years of screaming at people on the sand.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of sand in that throat.
Yeah, gravel.
But that's not what we're here to talk about in State of the Game, is it?
Sand.
Clues?
We are here to talk about sand.
Actually, yes, we
State
are.
of the Game is all about the upcoming Bachelor in Paradise Season 10. We want to give some predictions. We want to talk about what we know so far, what that may mean for how this season's going to shake out. Let's start with Bachelor in Paradise Season 9. This was 2 years ago. They skipped this past year. They had no Bachelor in Paradise. That Bachelor in Paradise Season 9 ended with 3 couples, if I'm remembering right, all forced to be engaged on camera, and then disastrously, they all broke up, I believe, the Monday after that episode aired,
as soon as they
which was on a
legally
Thursday night.
could break up.
Yeah.
They posted the breakups. I do believe, Clues and I had this fight in our Digging Deeper. I don't think most people who watch The Bachelor are going to notice Bachelorette was gone a year. I don't think most people who watch Bachelor in Paradise are going to notice it was gone a year either.
They may not overtly notice it, but there is something. If you are a Bachelor fan, enough of a Bachelor fan, I should say, to watch like every piece of the offering, to watch every season of Bachelor, of Bachelorette, of Bachelor in Paradise. I'm not even saying you're going to watch parties or throwing them. I'm not even going to that level. I'm saying just simply a regular viewer of the entire Bachelor product line. Even if you're not overtly aware of it, there will be a gnawing, a nagging at the back of the mind that is saying, where is this? Why is there no new crop of guys? Why didn't Latia become the Bachelorette? You will be maybe not overtly aware of it, but something deep down in your psyche will not feel at peace.
Did you know there was 2 years between White Lotus seasons?
Makes sense.
There wasn't. I just made it up.
Oh.
I'm just showing you that no one really knows, as long
White
as it's
Lotus
not like
ain't
your
Bachelor.
job.
White Lotus spits out 8 to 10 episodes every year. Bachelor spits out, what is it? 15, you're looking at 30, you're looking at around 38 episodes a year, not counting Golden. If you want to lay that on top of it, you got 40 plus episodes a year.
Sound off in the YouTube comments or the Instagram comments whether you think the average Bachelor viewer will notice 1 year missing of either of these franchises. I think not. I think there's a lot going on, in people's lives. Everyone has their PTCs. We've got, stock market, etc. Everything.
Of course, we all have busy lives. And I think you're probably right about Bachelor in Paradise. I think most of the fan base might not know that it skipped a year. But Bachelorette is just a different thing. The unveiling of the Bachelorette, the crowning of the Bachelorette, all these events are integral pieces of the march of the Bachelor over the course of a calendar year. To not have these big pieces, I think, again, maybe you're right. Maybe overtly, there's not a lot of people being like, what the hell? The regular Bachelorette announcement on Good Morning America usually happens this month. Where is it? Maybe that's not happening, but that's
what I said.
There's not a Bachelorette. The crowning of the Bachelorette, I think, is like the most momentous, the biggest thing that happens in the course of a Bachelor calendar year for me. I'm not saying that it doesn't weaken the franchise. It definitely does. And you're not having the same churn. You're not going to have the same people to pull from for sand. I just think for most people, they are not going to notice this absence. But what they will notice is this new season, I believe, because we're going to have a new showrunner, Scott Teti, who is coming to us from MAFS and Summer House. Summer House. Have you ever seen that show? I love that show. Yeah. I can't believe it's still on. It's been so many seasons. It is more of they're always on camera. They're always being filmed. And this is something I was discussing with the Love to See It ladies. That is something that I think that should change about Bachelor in Paradise. Everyone's sleeping in the same room. They sequester them by gender in these hidden off bunk beds so that they're spending even less time together. I think do away with that. Love Island style. You're all in beds in the same room. No, I agree. And Summer House is more in that direction for sure. So we'll see if Scott Teti plays it that way or if he does something different. We don't really know until the season comes out. But we do know the whole Bachelor in Paradise show is basically under new management with Scott Teti. And I do think he's going to bring new stuff to the table. I can't imagine
Like
he got
what?
that job. What's that?
Like any ideas or whispers?
I mean, I know some things for sure. Or I at least know some things that are like on the possibility board. I'll say that. I don't know if what is actually going to happen, but like there are possibilities that we have a return to a more kind of Bachelor Patty-ian version of this show where there are challenges. Like
Throw eggs at the ugliest person.
I don't think they will return to that challenge specifically. I think they learned some lessons there, hopefully. Jesus Christ.
That's the only challenge I remember.
Yeah, I do think they're going to try to initiate some challenge type things that may be on a Love Island-y kind of spectrum.
Or like sexy challenges.
Maybe. I'm not sure. We also know that they did try, prior to Scott Teti coming into this, they did try to take Casa Amor from Love Island, and that was disastrous in what they called Split Week. So we don't know about that.
If they're going to steal this element, they need to do it right.
I agree.
They can't just do a slipshod version of it like they did with Split Week at the Estates, which was a nightmare.
You need to build nice sets for these challenges.
Yeah.
Hopefully get them sponsored by big brands if possible.
Yes.
I forget which Love Island did one in season 6 that was sponsored by, I forget what the brand was, but they had like the brand had its logo there and it was a big brand. If I remember right, I can't remember exactly, but
they're Kentucky. Just, we'll get to this, but I'm watching Love Island Australia in my pleasure watching, and Kentucky sponsored their last date where they all took a cruise to Palma from where they're staying in Mallorca. I think sponsorships are the way to go. Remember that Barbie date that they did on Bachelorette somewhat recently?
Yeah.
That was like so well done. And
it was
that's
Jen
how you
Tran
can get
and Marcus
money for
Schoberg.
these terrible things.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't give them good outfits.
I totally agree. I don't know if they're going to do that or not, though. I just...
Right.
I feel like they are going to try to differentiate this season from prior seasons. If for no other reason than they hired a completely new person. They have kicked out everybody who was involved, essentially, in these prior seasons. From my understanding, per those Deadline articles, everybody in the Bachelor franchise who works behind the cameras, we're talking about post supervisors, editors, other producers, all terminated. They are no longer with the franchise because there is no Bachelorette to be produced this year. So they let them all go. Scott Teti comes in and he does call some people back up who worked on Paradise to say, hey, do you want to come do this? But not everybody. Scott Teti has his own crew of people that he's going to be working with. So I think we are in for a show that looks different and feels different. Whether that is good or bad, we're going to have to wait to see it on our TV screens to find out. But we do know some players who are going to be there. I think they've made it very clear. Some have been invited literally on camera, like Zoe McGrady just was at the after the final rose of Grant's season. We have seen Jonathan, Hakeem, and Jeremy constantly in the audiences. I believe Jonathan and Hakeem were both invited on camera and accepted. So they have remained chaste for the past year in order to...
That's a tough challenge.
Yeah, you got to maintain sand eligibility. I'm curious, though. We also know Gary and Leslie Fima. They were brought out after the final rose as the Goldens are going to be now a part of Paradise. We don't exactly know how they're going to factor in. It's my understanding they could possibly be in the dating pool. I don't know what the final decision is going to be on that when they get there. I mean, in a broad dating pool that includes both young players and Golden players.
Because they're going to have to establish some kind of rule, or they won't, and they'll just allow it to interpretation, and any May December hopefuls can just take that chance. I'm very curious how that's going to play out.
Let's say they sequester them. Let's say Scott Teti says, look, here's the rules. There's going to be 2 dating pools. The youngs date in the young pool, Goldens date in the golden pool. But aren't you all there simultaneously? Are they forcing them to live in separate barracks? How do you prohibit the cross-pollination?
Love finds a way.
Or at least, love. You can't stop love.
Are in. I just keep saying it. I keep saying to Jake too. He's like, "What are you talking about?"
Nick Viall is there hosting all the golden men, teaching them how to pick up on the younger ladies. What you gotta do is you let them slide into your DMs, then they gotta pretend like they don't know who you are. That's my Nick Viall. It's getting better, I think.
Pretend they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Well, Pascal, one of the main people who you would think would be in this, says he's not coming to Paradise.
I know.
When he said he wanted to date women in their 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, these women are too young for him. I mean, he wants 40s exactly. I don't really know.
Maybe they'll add in some silvers, some in-betweeners.
Who?
Deanna Pappas.
Oh, you're talking about like reaching back into the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. I think it's got to be players from the most recent 2 to 3 seasons, including the Goldens, basically. But I just don't know how they would keep them. Maybe.
I mean, he's not silver, but
I don't. Here's my worry with it. I don't think we're going to see anybody of that caliber on the beach because they're not promoting that. So far, the promotion has been around the players we just mentioned, and that's it. Unfortunately, that's like 4 players. That ain't enough to fill out a roster. So now if you're throwing in Goldens, is that how they fill out the gap that they have from having no guys from a recent Bachelorette season that doesn't exist? I don't know.
It's only golden guys.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, we know that's not true though. FEMA is there. I just don't know. There's a lot of questions I have about how they're constructing this season. And I think we're not going to get those true answers until it airs. But I can see like 2 paths here. There are a lot of answers to those questions that could be fantastic. And it could be an amazing season if they answer those questions correctly. There are also versions of the answers to those questions that are terrible. And it's even worse than season 9, which if that is the case, I think we are in deep waters with our beloved game.
I hope that is not true. I think you can even have like good ideas like, oh, let's steal Casa Amor, but the execution can be terrible.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping because it is all new top down that it will be high quality and new. But I am worried about the casting. If these are the ones that you are bringing forth before us over and over, they don't have huge followings, any of these people.
But I will say this about, nobody in the modern game does because they have completely battered the idea that social media should even be a part of it. And that, I believe, is on the producers, the old producers.
You wouldn't do it, probably.
No, I don't think Clayton's coming back. But I do think that with Scott Teti, if you're listening to this, Scott Teti, there is one thing fundamentally that I think you need to do that is an alteration from at least the past 3 seasons or so. You need to make sure your players have fun. That is it.
Yes.
They should never feel tortured. They should never feel like they need to escape this horrible experience. We want to see them having fun on the beach, whether they are finding love or they're single and wondering why nobody likes them. Yes, dancing, whatever. They need to be having fun. That needs to be conveyed to us, the audience, because we want to vicariously have fun with them in this amazing tropical paradise, wherever it may be. And I think that, for me anyway, was kind of the biggest error that the producers were making in seasons 7, 8, and 9, was they kind of latched onto this idea that paradise is torture and we are going to torture all of these players and make them have nervous breakdowns and live in terrible squalor. And that's not fun to watch.
I mean, we're watching Survivor. The people seem like they're having more fun than the last season of BIP.
Yeah, for real. These people haven't eaten in weeks.
I don't like watching suffering, like emotional suffering that is earned from, dumpings. That's okay. But it's called paradise. There shouldn't be crabs in there. Whatever, the boom boom room shouldn't be disgusting and filled with farts, as it has been portrayed, and no sex. And I think part of that is letting up the control. They want to keep everyone separate. They want to control the storyline so much that, remember last season, they focused on a love triangle of people in the first episode, and none of those people even continued through the season.
Yes.
Like, you need to follow the stories that are there, not try to manufacture this kind of bullshit and force this love triangle because you've maneuvered it so that the person they really want to see, they're waiting for, and they have to use someone as a placeholder.
Absolutely. They ask all players before they come to Paradise, who do you like? Who would you like to see show up on Paradise? And all players have to fill out a list. Here's my top 5 players that I want, that I hope show up. You should use that list to actually deliver those people to whoever your top 5 players are.
What do you mean? No, you should keep their number 1 locked in a hotel all season.
Exactly. Don't do that. You should take whoever you think is going to be best on camera, your top 5 players, let's say, and take their lists and make sure everybody on those lists is their day 1. Yeah. The love triangles will take care of themselves. You don't need to try and manufacture this. You don't need to try and hold people back in the hotel room for maximum effect when they come in with a date card. Put them all there from the beginning and the show makes itself. Just make sure the cameras are registering sound and image. That is all you got to do.
Alexa Ray Caves should be a lesson to us all. That should never happen again. And that's why I do think they should. I mean, I think you can add in a few bombshells, but I do think they're better served if everyone's there from the beginning and then you just follow the storylines that are actually happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what you have in the opposite is a player comes in, knows who she put on her list. Well, my number 1 ain't here yet. I know that guy's coming.
I know they're
guess
coming.
What? They're all DMing each other right now. All the players that have had invites that are flying out in a couple of weeks to go shoot this, they all know who each other are. They all know who's going to be there. And so when they show up and the guy or the woman that they want at the top of their list isn't there on day 1, they know they're in the fucking hotel. And so they're just treading water until that person shows up. And it makes the whole show bad.
Yeah, because then they're taking another person away from who they could be with because they need a placeholder.
Oh, just bring Scott Teti if you're listening. Put them all Scott on Teti. Sand day 1.
Please,
it will make a better show. Okay,
I think Scott Teti can do it, and it's not going to be at the same location. We know that.
Yeah,
that's already a step in the right direction.
I want to say Reality Steve said it was in Costa Rica. I could be wrong about that, but that's interesting.
Love that.
Crabs replaced by monkeys.
Monkeys are cute.
I agree. All right. That wraps up our state of the game. There's a lot to talk about. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this next season of Paradise as we move closer to it, because it also is the only Bachelor product we know we're getting for the rest of this year. Golden may or may not happen.
Jen Tran keeps joking, I'm the last Bachelorette. So funny.
Yeah.
And sad.
I mean, it is what it is. Let's now move on to our second portion of This Week in Bachelor Nation.
What are you watching?
What are you watching?
PaceCase.
What are you watching?
What are you watching, PaceCase?
Clues, like I said up top, I've been watching White Lotus. Love that show. I think my favorite storyline is the 3 not sisters, but the 3 female friendship.
Yeah, that's a great one. I agree.
I'm pleasure binging Love Island, the most recent Love Island Australia. Great season. And Clues, can I tell you a game mechanic they are doing that I don't think I've ever seen before? Mm-hmm. So you know how they like have movie night? Yeah. And they're like, oh, you're saying this and whatever. In this one, they played people's audition tapes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And they were like, well, this person says they get off on being with people who already have girlfriends, and they blew up a relationship in that way. It was so great. They really experiment a lot in that iteration of it, and I really enjoy it. Instead of Cause Amour, they did Hotel Amour, where it was the super fans got to vote for which couples should go into a hotel with each other all night.
That's pretty interesting.
And see if they cheat. Yeah.
Did they? Some of them must have.
Some of them did.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Can you believe that?
Yes, I can. I can believe that one.
Yeah, very interesting things they're doing on that. And I watched a lot of movies because I went on a honeymoon really far away. So I watched Les Mis finally.
Okay.
What's his face? So miscast. Russell Crowe. Good God. Terrible. But I enjoyed it. I rewatched The Matrix.
You know what? We just started rewatching The Matrix.
It holds up.
I know.
Very good.
I know.
Very good.
Laura had never seen it, and I was like, well, you got to see this. It's a seminal work. So we started watching it, and we stopped at the part where he wakes up in the goo pod and like gets sucked out. And she was like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, exactly.
Yeah. And that's real life, Laura. Sorry.
What?
Maybe. I don't
You
know.
think we're living in a goo pod?
You're saying everything's not real.
That's
You're
right.
the one who
The
just
goo
said your
pod ain't
parents aren't real.
The Matrix has like a computer reality is laid over the goo pod reality, but the goo pod reality is laid over actual reality.
You're saying the goo pod wasn't even real.
Goo pod is first layer of Matrix. Matrix is second layer of Matrix.
I did like the line that the evil guy says where he's like, we tried to do one where there was a perfect world and no suffering, but your brains couldn't take it. Didn't think it was real.
Hugo Weaving. He's so good in that movie. Hello, Mr. Anderson. When he's in that the scene where he pushes he's looking through the files and he's like, the way he holds his fingers is like he's disgusted to even be touching the paper. He's so grossed out by the Matrix and the people in it. I love that. God damn, that movie's
so
great.
Good.
Yeah.
And I also watched Little Women. Hadn't seen that.
The Winona Ryder one.
No, the Timothy Chalamet one. And Swarsha. I can't ever do it right, but enjoyed it.
What did you do?
And then I had a dream that my brother and I were hosting a Project X type party. Chalamet came and my dad made us move it to the park.
Nice. Smart.
What do you think about that?
I think your dad's a smart man. Get Chalamet out of there.
Take this to the park.
What are you doing? Making chocolate, of course. That's my Timothy Chalamet.
I thought he was great. I would watch him do anything. I know you disagree on this.
No, he's the most charming man on planet Earth.
Dune. He can't be Dune. Jack
He's not a good actor. I'm not saying he's not fun to watch. He's not a good actor, though.
Are you? Okay.
Making chocolate, of course.
He's the only good thing about that movie.
About what movie?
Wonka.
Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa. All of the religious iconography, the Jesus references. I think Chalamet was horribly miscast in that.
As you think about him in Dune, and I think you're wrong, I will watch him do anything.
Okay, fair enough.
He should be in the next Matrix.
They got to reboot that at some point. They did a Matrix 4 Revelations or whatever.
One recently.
It wasn't that good.
Yeah. No
offense.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, that's my list. What are you watching, Clues?
Also finished White Lotus. Also, well, I guess none
of these. What was
your
favorite storyline?
The Three Women.
Yeah.
I have been watching Love on the Spectrum season 3.
Is that
you
new?
watched that? Yeah.
I watched the first couple seasons. Ooh.
Get back into it. It's great.
Oh, I love that show.
Absolutely fantastic. My scream may have something to do with it.
How to date?
Huh? Teaching me how to date. No, but what it does do is I don't think I'm as socially affected by my touch as many of the people in that show are. I learned to, as they put it, mask very early on by literally studying my classmates and absorbing pieces of their personas into my own.
Uh-huh. Who was the one that was into squirrels?
The system of kindergarten.
Such a good masker.
into squirrels. Squirrels are into me.
Squirrels.
I didn't choose that.
That was such a Ted Robinson line.
Who's
squirrels
Ted Robinson?
Are into me. Or not Tim Robinson.
Oh.
The squirrels are into me.
I'm watching that. I am also watching, or I just completed the second season of Solo Leveling, one of my favorite animes. And we are watching a program on Netflix called The Last Kingdom, starring I don't know this guy's name, but he's Allison Williams' husband or fiance or something, as the titular character, or I guess he's not titular, but as the main character, Uhtred Ragnarsson, aka Uhtred of Bebbanburg. And it's all about like in the 600s, basically, the Danes, the Vikings in the English Isles, and they're fighting constantly for land and women and all this kind of shit. And it's very much like a kind of like Game of Thronesy. There's a dude in it who's on House of Dragons, the guy who's missing the eye that rides the big dragon.
Oh, your favorite.
He's in it as a young man. The guy from White Lotus who plays Valentin is in it as one of Uhtred's compatriots.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's great. Destiny is all. He has
They do look Viking.
Yeah, that actor is German, so he has kind of a funny German accent. I will not go to fight for Alfred. I must stay here and fight against the Danes to take back Bebbanburg for my own. It is my birthright. Destiny is all. That was my Uhtred. Thank you. If you watch the show
and you
tell me how I did.
Okay.
Oh, I love it. It's such a good show. There's so much, like every episode is basically like 10 movies worth of plot. You just can't believe the writing on it. It's fantastic.
Wow.
That's what I'm watching.
Okay. That's on Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix.
Cool.
All right. Let's move on to the next portion of our program in which we discuss all the tids that are fit for printing. This is
Bachelor Nation News.
First up in Bachelor Nation news, Viall is rich. This week, the Great One has finally put to rest any doubts that he is the undisputed greatest player of all time, both in and out of our beloved game.
This doesn't represent 100% of Game of Roses' opinion.
This is objective fact.
This is 50%.
Please, if you please, read the writings I have written. Here we go.
Liberated Syndication Incorporated has renewed its exclusive multi-year advertising and hosting partnership with Clues' Great One, and the deal is worth a reported 8 figures worth of dollars. For those keeping score, that's minimum $10 million.
I ain't seeing articles like this about Caitlin Bristow.
She's still in the news.
The Viall Files, which launched in 2019 and remains a top charting podcast with over 250 million downloads, is covered in this deal, as well as his audio lifestyle media company, NV Media. The renewal, which covers the next 3 years, comes after a fiercely competitive bidding season.
Did he post this? What news source did you get this from?
Oh, The Hollywood Reporter. You might have heard of it.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Of the deal, TGO, the Great One, said, over the last 6 years, I've had the pleasure of having the best job in the world. My mission has been to create the ultimate destination for the things I love: pop culture, relationships, reality TV, and more. The team at Libsyn have been my best partners imaginable in helping me reach that goal. I'm beyond lucky to have my wife, Natalie, as my co-host. And I wonder what that split is. I'm
50-50.
So excited on the
50-50.
podcast.
On every dollar he makes.
They've got a prenup. That
my
can't be
God.
true. You don't know this.
You don't think she twisted that man up in 2 knots? We've heard his whole thing was
she was hot. He was.
She slid into my DMs.
She didn't even know who he was.
And the sex was amazing.
She just fell for a thirst trap. She didn't know he was from Bachelor.
I guarantee you, somewhere in her parents' house is a treasure chest full of notebooks with designs on how to get this man to give her half his money.
Oh my God.
I guarantee
treasure chest.
I guarantee it.
Love that. Back in the quote, I'm so excited about Envy's growing family of hosts, including Katie Maloney, Dana Cathan, Crystal Minkoff, Cynthia Bailey, and more to be announced soon. Above all, I'm grateful for our household of listeners who make this show possible every day. Is that what he calls them? His household?
I don't know.
Or are they the Violers?
The Vial Filers.
The Filers?
Whatever they're called. Congrats to the great one on crushing everyone in Bachelor Nation. No one comes close. No one comes close.
So far.
No one comes close. $10 million minimum, whatever that means. 8-figure
Bristow
deal.
has $10 million? Bristow has $10 million.
She may have it, but not from her podcast. She doesn't have a podcast network. She has a
Why does it
podcast.
matter where the money comes from?
I'm just saying. And I know that Hollywood
She still
Reporter,
has more
whatever,
followers than him.
I just don't think it's translating to the same dominance in the post-game era that this is. That's all.
Look, I am shocked by it. It's tearing fairy tales to shreds.
I agree. We got to get on that MV Media. We got to see if we can get Gore on his network.
What's the ad split?
Great one if you're listening.
Set it up.
Put us on your network and I'll help you turn it into the ESPN of reality television, which I know you have said you want to do. Let me help you. Next up in Bachelor Nation news.
Do you want to be his work buddy or do you want to be his rival? It's very confusing for me.
You got to watch The Last Kingdom. All the time. All the time. Mortal enemies square off on the battlefield and then they're like, look, we could kill each other now, or we could join forces and take Northumbria from the hands of the Scots and settle our differences later.
Oh,
Nick
very
Viall,
Game of Thrones. Is there sex in it like that other show?
Outlander. Okay. It's not as graphic as Outlander, but there is sex in it.
Okay.
Nick Viall, if you're listening. Nick Viall, if you're listening. I can be your Uhtred of Bebbanburg.
Caitlin Bristow, if you're listening, I can be your Uhtred. I think. I haven't seen it. Next up in Bachelor Nation news, Eliza has an engagement to celebrate. Eliza Isichei is engaged to her boyfriend, who goes by Frito and also lives in Berlin, where Isichei has been living since 2019. Eliza and Frito shared a collab post featuring Frito on bended knee with a gorgeous sunset over the water backdrop behind them. The song Yebba's Heartbreak by Drake scores the scene with the lyrics, "How much better can I show my love for you than say, I do, I do, I do."
The comment section was a who's who of Bachelor Nation luminaries. BIP Season 9 breakout star Olivia Lewis wrote, "Love you guys so much. The biggest congrats to you too. Heart emoji. My baby girl is going to be a wife." The Serene Russell added, "I'm so happy for you, sweet girl." Happy sad eyes emoji, hearts emoji. Gore Girl Susie Evans chimed in saying, "Oh my gosh, congratulations, Eliza." Double heart emoji. And Kate Gallivan elegantly stated, "Yes." Triple arrow through heart emoji.
Isichei got engaged to Aaron Bryant at the end of the disastrous season 9 of Bachelor in Paradise, but 3 business days after the season ended airing, she issued her amicable breakup post. Congrats to Eliza and Frito on this next step of their journey to death.
That's what we're all on.
Clues, come on.
Speaking
you
of
said death's not real.
What's that?
You said death's not real.
Death is real, but I don't think it's the end of consciousness. I think it's like unplugging a video game system. Speaking of Gore Girls, our next piece of Bachelor Nation news involves a new venture from Gore Girls, Jason Tartick and Justin Glaze. This week, the J Bros made their Broadway debuts as co-producers on the show The Last 5 Years, starring singer Nick Jonas. Maybe you've heard of him as the lead.
The Glazeman reposted a post from digital creator Justin Adams on his Instagram story announcing this exciting news. The post shows the playbill being held up in front of the Broadway stage with the caption, "So, as a lot of you know, my full-time job is in-person promotions and marketing for Broadway shows, and my newest client is The Last 5 Years, starring Nick Jonas. But fun fact, at Jason Tartick, at Evan M. Sarr, and at Justin Glaze are co-producers on the show. What a small, beautiful world.
Justin glazed the comments section. You see what I've done there? By writing, "Can't wait for opening night," sparkle emoji, drama and comedy mask emoji. Here's to hoping these two girls get to check off the T in their EGOTs. You think they
Happy
will?
for them. Yes. Up next in Bachelor Nation news, some stunning information has been inadvertently revealed about Bachelor Season 29's ring winner, Juliana Pasquarosa. Pasquarosa is facing backlash after members of the fourth audience noticed a nod to Donald Trump in a since-deleted video posted by Pasquarosa. In the original video, Pasquarosa and Ellis were standing next to each other as he played on his phone and pretended to talk with the caption, "Should I post this?"
Pasquarosa then playfully punched Ellis in the face, causing him to fall out of frame, revealing a chalkboard on the wall in the background. On the chalkboard, the date of a Trump inauguration party was in January. In response to the backlash, Pask deleted the video, then re-uploaded it with white and red heart emojis, censoring the chalkboard, along with a fictionalized reason for the re-upload in the caption that read, "Clearly, neither of us are good at TikTok because I was off with my timing and also punched him in the face for real. Skull and crossbones emoji."
After fans called out Juliana for re-uploading the video, she attempted some damage control, writing, "Glad you took time to comment. Not my house, not my whiteboard." It was a blackboard.
Oh.
The fourth audience made their displeasure known on Pask's post, as well as some of Ellis's posts. One fourth audiencer wrote, "If I had a nickel for every time a black bachelor ended up with a MAGA white girl, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? Especially because there's only been 2 black bachelors." 3 crying emojis.
This shit was wild. To have to re-upload it with the hearts over it means she feels that she must hide it, but she also wanted to re-upload the
But it was such a good post.
Yeah, exactly. And was it? Like, it wasn't even that great of a post. I don't know.
It's a kind of a confusing post. Yeah. There's some meta element of like, should I post this or not? Yeah, it's very interesting.
I mean, this is Bachelor Nation. This is peak nation.
I mean, I guess so.
Let's move on. Finally, in Bachelor Nation news, this news is a little overdue, but we thought it was well worth highlighting. Huge congrats go out to our season 17 Bachelorette, Katie Thurston, who is now married. She and her fiance, Jeff Arcuri, legally merged on March 22nd in a backyard ceremony.
Wow, we're both wives. So close together.
Yeah.
Last month, Katie revealed she was diagnosed with breast cancer, which caused the couple to move up their wedding date. Thurston said, "It was so sweet. Obviously, we were wanting to plan a wedding, and there's a lot of emotions that come in with chemo and the impact on the health, and we don't know what the next year looks like. And one night he said, I want to show you that I still love you and that I'm here to stay. I'll get married to you tomorrow. We flew our parents in from Michigan and Washington State. We got our marriage license, and a friend is just going to marry us." Katie and Jeff plan to hold a bigger wedding ceremony after she beats cancer.
Congrats once again to Katie. We know she's going through a rough time right now, but she's going to come out of it stronger, having learned a lot, I'm sure. I remember when I was going through some cancer shit, you do come out of it, I believe, a better person than when you went into it. And it's good to know that she is going through this with somebody like Jeff, her new husband, at her side. So congrats to her and good luck on everything that you're going through right now.
Congrats, Katie. Fuck cancer.
Let's move on to that portion of our program where we talk about all the plays some of our favorite players are making off the field on their telephones in that social media world. This is
our 5th top play this week goes to Ari the Kissing Bandit Lyndike. He made an incredible TikTok this week with his wife, Lauren, as the star. Under the Chiron POV, your in-laws left your wife's bedroom untouched, LOL. Lauren holds up her old sweatshirt, which says, Purity Power. Commit to living an abstinent life. Virgin of the week. And then below it, just because you're a virgin doesn't mean you're a loser. And at the very bottom, at BYU Virgin on Instagram. There is a cartoon mascot circle character wearing a baseball hat in the middle, and they carry a lock and chain. The caption reads, finding some gems in her old bedroom, LOL at Lauren Burnham Lyondike. 40.5K likes, 461K views.
You know, did she go to BYU? Is she Mormon?
I don't know. I guess so.
I didn't know that about her.
Me either.
Maybe she was a rare non-Mormon who went to BYU? I don't know.
I don't know.
Moving on.
Sound off.
Coming in at number 4 in our top 5 parasocial plays of the week, none other than the final hot seat of Bachelor Season 29, Zoe McGrady. She made a TikTok of various shots of herself going down a giant water slide, including a voluntary booty play in the ocean. The Chiron reads, quote, I can't believe he strung you along. Me enjoying my free trip to the DR. The audio is, I feel like you were just here for the zip line from that incredible I Think You Should Leave sketch. That's Tim Robinson. The caption reads, for legal reasons, this is a sparkle joke sparkle emoji. Hashtag The Bachelor, hashtag Bachelor Nation, hashtag Zoe, hashtag reality TV, hashtag dating, hashtag Dominican Republic. 19.9K likes, 144.7K views.
She's prolific too. She is posting a ton of posts.
All these players, Zoe included, this season they got the short end of the stick. There ain't no other way to say it.
Well, I wish her and Jeremy luck.
Jesus Christ.
Our third top parasocial play this week goes to the dolphin shark herself, Alexis Waters.
Nice.
In a brief reel under the Chiron, let the bachelorette party begin. Waters enters a house in a bright pink bikini, fluffs her hair, takes a shot, and poses in front of a photo shoot backdrop with her paramour's cutout head on a stick under a sign that says, let's party, all in a matter of seconds. The caption reads, all caps, we're in Miami, bitch. Bride emoji, nail emoji, 4.1K likes, 316,000 views.
I gotta say, she's
very
still
funny
out there.
and well done.
Yeah, she's still doing it. Alexis Waters was, I think, very underrated. We all remember the shark dolphin costume, but she's good. She's a good player. She's
prolific too.
Yeah. Coming in at second place this week is none other than that ultimate Viking, Clayton Echard. In an Instagram reel, he clapped back at Gabby Wendy's comments about him on the Lost Culturistas podcast, and a rare misstep from Wendy. She mocked his physical appearance and his dancing videos. Echard calls her comments bullying and says that Wendy was attacking his passion for dancing. For him, a source of self-love and personal growth. He also criticized Wendy for setting a bad example with her platform, encouraging others to try new things despite online bullying. The caption reads, quote, bullying people for their physical looks and their passions is completely unnecessary, and behavior like this needs to be called out so that hopefully it isn't continued. You have a massive platform, and influence, Gabby. So I hope you can reflect upon this moment and be better going forward. The two had not spoken in 3 years, but Echard claimed Wendy continues to take unnecessary shots at him. 12K likes, 270K views. I agree with Clayton on this. I think Gabby
100%.
is punching down unnecessarily. And the only thing that I can think as to why she would do this is that in season 19, Bachelorette season 19, the cursed season, the dual season, her, Rachel Recchia, much was made, especially early on, of saying that Clayton was a terrible person, including the child army. They had come out of a limo singing Clayton sucks, Clayton sucks. I think that is just baked into her brain now, that like he is a maligned figure in Bachelor Nation, and that's the tack she's going to take. But unfortunately, at this point, she has risen far above his status in Bachelor Nation and reality TV generally. And we all know all the horrible shit he's been through in the last couple of years since his time went in game. And he just doesn't deserve this. And I do think it is a rare, strange misstep that makes Gabby look bad.
we covered some of the clips from this podcast in our Digging Deeper, where she talks about how basically she was gaslighting herself into falling for him because of the environment and stuff. But it's absolutely punching down. He has 284K on Instagram. She's at 1.4 million. She has a much bigger platform, especially now that she's on Traders and a lot of people have found her. And yes, the shit that Clayton went through, like he's been through the most, arguably the most of any Bachelor. Like, I'm just like, I want to guard and protect Clayton's heart.
Me too.
And I was so happy to see him on After the Final Rose. And yeah, I didn't see this clip where she's calling him a thumb and like and no one should ever make fun of anyone's physical appearance ever, in my opinion.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Gabby Windey will issue an apology at any point in the near future? Or will she try to let this blow over without acknowledging?
Yeah, I think it depends on how big this post gets. Let's see. What is it at? 270K views?
Well, I mean, it definitely has gotten back to her at
287.
this point. She is, I think, very aware that this exists and that this sentiment exists within the fourth audience.
Maybe. I hope she does.
I hope she does too. I think it's the only play you have here.
I think it is like, it's always a good thing to just apologize. And then you get the views from that too. So
Exactly.
Win-win. All of these were strong plays. However, there can only be one winner. Our Parasocial play of the week goes to our latest Bachelor, perhaps the last Bachelor ever, Grant Ellis. In response to Tyler Cameron dusting off his Bachelor commentary boots and siding with Latia in the breakup, Grant Ellis issued an incredible clapback TikTok and Instagram story. In it, he bobs his head to Kendrick Lamar's iconic "They're Not Like Us" song. The Chiron reads, "I really unfollowed you because of what you said about Kendrick. Stick to country." The caption reads, "At Tyler Cameron, all love though." Peace and love emoji. Hand. This Parasocial rivalry play raked in 37.3K likes and 1 million views.
I love the all love though. It's like, fuck you, you piece of shit. All love though.
Yeah.
I love though.
Respectfully, peace and love. I laughed so hard at this.
Me too.
I mean, I'm very curious based on recent other Parasocial plays what exactly his viewpoints are, but this slapped for me.
Indeed. Now we must also discuss one creature this week who had some fantastic Parasocial play. We're talking about a cat, a feline creature that belongs to one Parisa Shifta. That's correct. This week, Parisa posted a video of her with her lovely orange cat snuggling up, petting the cat, and it is captioned, "Everyone talks about their first love, but no one talks about the cat a girl gets in her 20s that changes her entire world." And I have to add, nobody talks about the cat a guy gets in his late 40s that changes his entire world either. I don't know where that cat is for me. He's probably sleeping somewhere. And he changes
his cat's entire name. Just go believe. By the way, this cat is named Sunny. Just like the first cat I fell for.
There you go.
It was an orange cat.
The first cat I fell for was an orange cat too, named Puddy, a.k.a. Pud Monsignor, a.k.a. the Catholic priest. Thank you. I made all those names up when I was like 12.
Oh. Catholic. That's cute.
Yeah, thank you. She was great.
The caption, by the way, is "Sunny is ready for her daddy." White heart emoji. She's got to be on sand, right? Parisa? She's built for sand.
She was in the After the Final Rose audience. There were a bunch of people. Alex Godden, I think, too, will be there.
Ah, yes.
Let's move on now. We have one final segment of this week in Bachelor Nation. It is called
Screams from the Pit.
In this segment, PaceCase and I journey to the bottom of the pit. The pit is, of course, our fandom of reality television. It is the open acknowledgement that we have been absorbed, swallowed whole by this fandom that has basically replaced our personal identities. And from the bottom of that pit, immersed in the fandom itself, we issue forth our screams about the people we have become in service of this very thing. PaceCase, what is your scream?
Well, Clues.
Yeah.
You might have seen this coming, but my scream has to do with the wedding I just had.
Yeah.
During the Ides of March. March 15th. I got married. And go back in time. I'm at my friend's wedding, and I'm supposed to give a joint speech with my other friend. And right before it, I was freaking out. And I was like, I'm really worried about this. There's a lot of pressure, weddings. I was like, to me, weddings are like living funerals. And this then made my friend spiral out. I regret saying it at that moment. But it is kind of how I feel about it, because there's no other time. You get all these people together and they all say nice things about you. And so we did wedding toasts. And my scream is that I was made aware, as if this is a living funeral, like, what are the things that sum me up, And there's a lot of, TV, podcasting references. Catherine, lovely Catherine, said all of our qualifications, such as published How to Win the Bachelor, etc. And Erica, the third member of Gore, also gave an incredible toast we talked about on the podcast. And my mother roasted Chad while she was roasting me in her toast to me.
Yeah.
And so I was just thinking about screams. I was like, well, it's not really one specific scream, but it's like all the wedding toasts had so much to do with this project. And yeah, I mean, it has Where Do I Begin and The Bachelor Ends. I don't know. I don't feel normal about Bachelorette coming back. I feel like part of me is being ripped away.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, that's my scream.
No, I loved your wedding. I thought it was beautiful. And all the little, various friends and family members that were giving your toasts and speeches at any given time, talking about The Bachelor and weaving that into there. To me, it was just a commentary on how well your friends all know you and how important this thing is to you, that they saw fit to include it at what will likely be the most, or one of the most important moments of your life. Yeah. Bachelor found its way in through other people.
Many different ways. Yeah. Not just one reference. Yeah. It was throughout a sprinkling.
Speaking of Bachelor finding its way into other things, I've been watching, as I mentioned, this show called Love on the Spectrum Season 3. In it, there is a woman who loves American Girl dolls, they're called, and making bracelets and princesses and things of this nature. Guess what she also loves?
Magic Attic Club dolls.
The Bachelor. She has talked about The Bachelor so many times. Yeah. And every time I would say probably in 50% of the scenes she's in, she's talking about the Bachelor franchise, specifically about Jen Tran in some seasons or in some scenes. And she gets to a point, spoiler alert, with this guy that she's dating. He likes NASCAR. I have to watch she's like, relationships are about compromise. Would you watch The Bachelor with me? And he's like, yes, I would. And then he asked her if she would go to NASCAR events with him. And she's like, yeah, I guess I would do that if you would watch The Bachelor. So they're using The Bachelor as a bargaining chip of activities that they're going to perform together. But every time I see her mention it, I'm just like, I wish I was on that date. I would crush this. If there's anybody,
are you saying this to Laura?
Yeah.
I would be so good on this date.
Yeah. You don't understand. I'd crush this date right now. I'd crush it.
Oh my God. That's so funny. I wouldn't,
because she goes to the beach on one of the dates and she collects sand shells to make her jewelry, or seashells to make her jewelry. And I'm like, there's absolutely no way I would fucking do that on a date.
But what if you could find the sand from the vial? If you knew it was at that beach.
That's like, now we're getting into Last Kingdom. In Last Kingdom, all the the Christian kings have like body parts and things of saints, like these holy relics, basically. To me, the vial of Viall sand from Bachelorette season 10 is a holy relic.
Wowie. Well, someone just gave us at the last watch party, someone gave me a rose from after the final rose, and I'm letting it dry out on my desk. And I'm like, what am I doing with this?
I have 2 of those roses.
And you're drawing them?
Yeah.
What are you doing with it?
They're just hanging on the back of my, they've been placed on here. They're just hanging. They're just drying, hanging.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with them.
I don't know what to do with it either, but I'm like, I can't let it go.
Same. You know what I might do with it? I might crush them into dust and put them in a talisman.
Interesting.
Just something to think about.
I'm like, maybe between like, I don't know. I've just realized it's one of the creepier things that I'm now keeping.
One of the creepier things? Where is it?
I don't even think of that as a scream. I'm just like, yeah. Wait.
This is a vial of holy water. Water from the pool at Villa de la Vina. Thank you.
I mean, that's pure water, though. That's not creepy. That's the purest waters there are.
That water has particles in it from so many different Bachelor players. All right.
Ew.
We are not the only people screaming. It may seem like that, but we're not. There's a lot of people in the pit. We all got screams.
Definitely. There's others. Not just us.
There are. And if you want to submit your scream to this very podcast to be played potentially right here, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/Game of Roses, join us in the bottom of the pit. You get access to our Discord, and in that Discord is a channel called Submit Your Scream. All you do is upload a 1 minute or shorter audio or video format scream. You can also put pictures and stuff if they're germane to whatever you're screaming about. Send it away, and we play the best ones here. Are you ready for today's Scream Pace Case?
Let's go.
Here we go.
Greetings, fellow pit dwellers. I always seem to be on the fringes of reality TV filming locations in foreign countries. Last year, I was in Scotland during the filming of The Traitors Season 3 US, and while I was renting a car, I saw Brittany Haynes in the window of the Inverness Airport Courtyard Marriott getting her glam done. This was towards the end of filming, so I knew that she was going to go far since last June. I will also be back this summer, and hopefully that's around the time the UK or US Season 4 is filming. Now, here's where we bring it back to our beloved game. I just happened to be in Puerto Vallarta at the beginning of April and just found out that they will be filming at Costa Sur Resort and Spa in Puerto Vallarta. And they're beginning to film in late April through early May. Of course, I plan to scout the location and do a vibe check. Is there anything other than early production setups that I should be looking for? I will report back with my thoughts on the general vibe and quote-unquote cleanliness of this new sand location. Praise be, Dark Lord Palmer.
Well, so I guess they're shooting in Puerto Vallarta, not Costa Rica, as I previously thought.
Clues?
Yeah.
I'm going to Puerto Vallarta in July.
Oh. Well, they'll be done shooting by then.
I know, but it's all connected.
You can roll around. This is what I would say to our screamer here. Thank you for the scream, first of all. And congratulations on being in proximity of all these great reality television shows. You're looking for a couple of things. One, you're looking for those sets. Are they building sets for the challenges? What do they have erected there? Two, you're looking for a nice place that you can dig a hole, bury yourself in the sand with a straw sticking up so you can breathe, so that you can jump out of the sand at an opportune moment and become the star of at least one date or something like this. That's
you're
what
looking
I'd be
for the deepest toilet they have to bury yourself in so you can listen to
Christ. A deep toilet. There are two things I look for when I'm scouting locations. Where can we build the sets for challenges? And deep, deep toilets.
It always makes me laugh thinking about you secretly in a toilet during some Bachelor season.
How did that even come up?
I don't know.
Somebody did this. I remember reading an article about some guy who hid in toilets at like a music festival or something.
But that was in a creepy way. This would be in a
Heart wants what it wants.
Fun, informational gathering way. You wouldn't let someone use you in a toilet function. This is crazy. Scream that is giving us new information.
Yeah.
It's linking to my own life, which I love.
I agree. I would be looking for, are they building sets? I would be looking for like the equivalent of the palapa, the equivalent of the day beds. Do they have, places basically for players to kind of meander around during the day or not? Maybe they don't. Maybe this is all going to be indoors. I can't imagine that though. I think if they have them on the beach, they're going to use the beach. I would also be looking for what are the native creatures in this area? Is it going to be more crabs? Is it not crabs?
But this isn't that far from where they were originally shooting.
Yeah, I know. So probably crabs.
So probably the same stuff. I'd bring in some creatures, honestly. Just have some like puppies in the house,
Yeah.
Something cute. Something that's making it fun. I mean, it's a great city. I'm going for a bachelorette party.
Oh, fantastic.
And now I guess I'm going to have to do it for work too.
Yeah, you're going to have to do some recon.
Hotel out.
But it'll be post facto recon. So you'll be there and maybe you can find shattered glasses if people get in fights. And, maybe you'll find the remnants of the season. Smells?
I don't know. Just whatever's left.
Shit. I hope not. Anyways, thank you very much for your scream and for this insane information. Puerto Vallarta. And yes, please hide yourself in the sand or the bushes or anywhere you can to jump out at an opportune moment. And again,
don't miss your chance. Get in the ground.
Go to ground. That's what they say of vampires in True Blood. Thank you again for your scream. If anybody else out there, again, wants to submit your scream, just go to our Patreon, patreon.com/GameRoses, get on that Discord, fire off that scream. And that wraps up our first Twibbin back in about a month and a half, something like that. I'm glad to be back on it. I'm glad to be covering the news with you, PaceCase, and all the Parasocial plays.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're not going to let anything big get by us any longer.
That's correct.
And we're back screaming. Praise be Dark Lord Palmer.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us. And then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.